Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Should I Buy It? A weekly look at what the vendors have dropped, should you buy it, and if you do buy it, how do you mod it to get the most out of it? My name is SkillUp, I do these videos every single week, so if you like this sort of content, be sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe, and with that, let's get stuck straight into it. Downstairs in the terminal, there's one shotgun that I would bring you to your attention. It's a tactical SASG-12, or a sausage, as it is affectionately known. It's only a 204, however, the SASG is a super excellent weapon right now. Anyone that doesn't have one, I really recommend picking this one up. It's not particularly fantastic. It's got accurate, which is really good for keeping its reticle quite small. You'll notice a significant difference with regards to its reticle size. Sustained, killing a target increases your health by 6%. Sure, it's nice to have, but it's not fantastic. And self-preserved, which is okay on a shotgun, but we don't build for a lot of crit on a shotgun, so don't expect to get a huge amount out of that. It's far better on an SMG. But the thing is, the SASG itself is just a fantastic weapon class, and as I said recently in a video that I did yesterday on how to sort of make PvE content really easy, the stagger that you get from shotguns is awesome, and the SASG is just the best weapon you could possibly get to keep a target constantly staggered. So if you don't have one, I actually really recommend picking this one up, despite the fact that it's 204, because I think it's still going to help you out in a big way. For those of you on PC and Xbox, downstairs in the underground, the vendor there has a Surplus SVD, which is the rank 40 item. It's got Vicious, which is not a fantastic talent because you do need to be at full health to get value out of that. Talented, killing a target with this weapon increases skill power by 9% for 14 seconds. Awful talent, really avoid that one. It really provides you very little benefit indeed. And finally, Decisive, which I've spoken about in the past, is okay, it's fine, but I generally like to roll it off my weapon because I don't like any weapon talent that procs on kill, I generally don't like, and it's exactly the case with this one as well. So I'd probably give this one a pass. It's not a particularly strong way to spend 948 Phoenix credits, and I'm sure if you're rank 40, you've got something better. We've got a First Wave X45 here at the rank 20. It's a 204 item, just keep that in mind. So for that reason alone, I probably wouldn't recommend it. It also has Predatory, which again, you do need to kill your target to get that to proc, which would probably be fine if we were talking about a primary weapon, but this is a pistol, and we're probably not going to be killing many targets with our pistol, unless there's, some very specific conditions around that. There's a Paratrooper Svd at the 182 level. It's got Deadly, Skilled, and Decisive on it. I'd recommend picking this one up if you're looking at running an Alpha Bridge marksman rifle build. It's obviously Deadly is fantastic. Skilled is really, really strong if you actually start using it and start using your DPS signature skill on cooldown. And as Decisive, as we've said, is not a particularly great talent, but you could re-roll that one. And finally, the G36 is Vicious, which I've already spoken about. Not a fantastic talent. Stable is actually a really, really poor talent. I did a video sort of almost devoted to that, and the fact that the stable talent provides you almost no stability whatsoever, so you should pretty much ignore it. It's almost an automatic reroll for me at this point. And Focus, similarly, I also pretty much reroll Focused whenever I can, because I prefer to use my abilities and skills because they give me way more DPS than this talent would. So nothing really worth picking up at the underground vendor this week. At the DZ3 vendor, we have a converted SMG-9. It's a 182 score item. It's got Provident, Self-Preserved, and Ferocious. It's actually not a bad Alpha Bridge weapon. You could re-roll that Provident and get yourself, obviously, Self-Preserved is lovely. Ferocious is excellent in PvE. Yeah, it's not a bad one. So if you're looking for a good SMG Alpha Bridge complement, then this one would fit the bill. We've got a Police M4. It's a 163. It's got Accurate, Balanced, and Skilled. I wouldn't recommend this one. Accurate is quite nice on an M4 because it kind of needs it. Balanced is totally useless, and skill can be okay if you're, as I said, really focused on using your signature skill on cooldown. The Military RPK 74 is really nice. It's 204. It's got Brutal, which is awesome. It's got Swift, which I would absolutely recommend re-rolling on this weapon. It's pretty much useless Swift. And it's got Fierce. Critical hit chance is increased by 8.5% when using this weapon. This is really nice, and if you don't have a better weapon than this already, which, depending on your level and how much you've been playing, I'd really recommend checking this one out. And similarly, again, with an Alpha Bridge build, it could also be quite nice if you're looking at running LMG Alpha Bridge. Next up, we have a military L86 LSW, which I am fairly confident is actually the best LMG in the game. I've sort of run the numbers on that and done a video on it, and I'm using it myself, and it's just really superb. I actually prefer it over assault rifles as well at this point, because you get that bonus value in PvP in terms of the bonus damage out of cover, whereas you don't get bonus armor damage on an assault rifle to a PvP target. 27% damage out of target is really excellent, by the way, as our starting point. Fierce, critical hit chances increased by 8.5%. Yeah, quite nice. Restored, you'd pretty much ignore that one. And then you have Ferocious, which I've already said is really excellent in PvE. So, look, this is a great weapon, and I'd really strongly recommend checking it out. It's 204 again, so it's not best in class, but if you don't have anything better or you're running an Alpha Bridge build, then go for it. Finally, we have the classic RPK 74. The talents on this are sadly not fantastic. Commanding, every kill performed while signature skill is active extends duration, so that's just, yeah, you could pretty much ignore that. You do need to actually get the killing blow in order to proc that as well, which is again that same problem that I've mentioned earlier. Prepared, you need to be 40 meters from your target. You are not meant to use this weapon 40 meters from your target, so it's pretty much useless. And finally, accurate. The LMG weapon class actually has a lot of accuracy on it because its reticle shrinks natively, so you really don't need that at all. In terms of the blueprints, for anyone looking to craft stuff at the moment, we've got a tactical M1911, which is a pistol. Nowhere as good as an X45, so don't craft that. And we've got a first wave M1A, which, you know, sure, you could absolutely craft that. However, it's 204, and I'd rather get my M1A at 229. And yeah, that's it. So that's the DZ3 vendor. For those of you looking for gear mods, the DZ4 vendor is selling the level 32 firearms gear mod for about 235,000 Darkzone funds, so you can pick that up if you still need it. And finally, at the DZ5 vendor, we've got a quick release magazine, which is reload speed and crit hit chance. Never mod for reload speed. It is woefully inefficient versus other options, so steer clear of that one. We've got a Tyrant Suppressor, which is reduced threat. Again, never mod for reduced threat, because it's really not a functional sort of mechanic right now, threat. It's just there's too many broken variables associated with threat in this game, which I won't go into now, but never mod for threat. It does nothing. We've got extended magazine, which is magazine size at its base and random bonus on top. This is, you know, your go-to mod for most weapons that you are using in terms of if you're going to roll something, you're probably going to roll this bad boy. We've got small RDS scope, which is 2 randoms, so you could be anything on this one, but it is an any type size, so just be aware of that in terms of it's not a micro one, it's not one that fits on say an AUG, for instance. It's one that fits on a larger type weapon. And then, as always, we have the PEQ and the rugged mini reflex sight blueprint. They have hip fire accuracy and accuracy on them. Finally, just before we head it off, I wanted to give you a quick demo on how to mod an SASG. Yeah, so basically, fantastic weapon, really easy to mod for as well. So first of all, you don't need any accuracy on a shotgun. I will show you on an SASG. I'll show you what I mean. Right? This is my reticle when I'm aiming down sights, right? It doesn't get any larger, okay? And if I fire as fast as I like, it doesn't get bigger. Now, I have no accuracy whatsoever on this weapon, okay? Look, you've got headshot damage, mags don't give it, underbarrel don't give it, and there's no muzzle slot, right? There is no need for any accuracy in that top slot there in the optical slot. Just put crit and headshot damage in that top slot. That's what you go with, because you literally do not need any accuracy at all on an SASG. On the magazine, I really recommend weapon damage instead of rate of fire, purely because, yeah, I mean, basically the stability of the weapon is the biggest challenge when you're firing it really fast. So again, if I go into cover and I start firing away, you can see it's quite stable now, right? That's fine. But if I was to drop the stability that I have on my weapon, whoops, let's do this and let's strip it. And then I start firing the same way, you'll see that it really starts kicking a lot more. See how it's bouncing around? So stability is my #1 concern with an SASG. And if I'm firing really fast, it actually makes that problem worse, okay? So I actually want to keep stability on my weapon, and I want to keep my rate of fire down. I just want to hit harder per shot. That's going to make the weapon, just generally speaking, much more easy to manage. So I'm doing a magazine there with just weapon damage, and I'm doing stability and horizontal stability in the underbarrel. I'm doing headshot damage and critical hit chance in the optics. And then the most important slot, the skin, I'm giving it the old red one because, you know, red goes faster. Even though we just said fast is bad, but anyway, never mind that. So that's it. That's how you mod an SASG. And you know, the end result is an extremely stable weapon with very, very low recoil, with no reticle bloom whatsoever, that you can use to sort of constantly stagger your targets. It's just really awesome. And if you haven't tried it yet, I really recommend doing so. And that's it, guys. That's Should I Buy It for the week. If you liked this video and you found it useful, do drop it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And yeah, I'll be back soon. This week I've got a few interesting videos coming out. I'm finally going to do a proper Reclaimer review, which sort of have foreshadowed that recently in my video yesterday about how to make PvE content really easy. And I'm also going to take a proper look at the G36 now that it's been nerfed. I'm going to give it a proper review so you know where it sits in the overall pecking order of assault rifles and also in the meta more broadly. So yeah, stick around for that stuff, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Take good care, and I'll see you in the Dark Zone. Bye-bye.